Hi, this is Lee Solden. I'm going to help you learn Tagalog, uh, particularly Filipino, okay, which is a dialect of Tagalog. Um, Tagalog is a very unique language. It does have a lot of Spanish influence. Um, I just read that 33% of the words used in Filipino have Spanish roots. That means they're related somehow or another to Spanish. Um, and got a lot of American English in it too, but it's certainly not a dialect of Spanish, not a dialect of English. It's a very unique language. Um, so this is the fourth in a series to teach you this audiobook. Now, the audiobook I didn't do. The audiobook is just something that FilipinoPod101.com did. 2 hours of daily Filipino conversations. Learn Filipino with FilipinoPod101.com. I'm just helping you learn it, okay? With my method. Do you have to use my method? No. You can use this video otherwise, but I tell people to do things ear first. And let's get to story 4 on the video. If you haven't seen my first 3, I'll put the link to I'll put the link to them in the description eventually. Okay, I can go to my channel page and look for them. They're toward the top. They're all fairly recently made. So here's the ear tuning syllables for story 4. Magan, dang, pana, hon, nag, swimming, ako, sa pool, noong, hapon, tapos, nagpunta ako sa sinehan noong excuse me, that's your han. Nung kinagabihan nag-ara din ho ng buong umaga di na masama. Okay. And how to use these ear-tuning syllables. You can listen to me saying them, rewind, listen a few times to get used to them. But then what you have to do to actually do ear tuning exercises, you go to this video that you're learning from, that you're going to learn, and you play. That's a 227 mark is where this story starts. Okay. So the first sentence is going to be at 227. And you just listen to them and you try to keep your eyes on the right ear tuning syllable. So when he's saying ma, you see ma. When he goes, you see person says no, you got your eye on the syllable no. You do not worry about what anything means. It's not the point. The point is get your ear tuned in to the speaker's voice. For that, meaning is worthless. You have to concentrate 100% on what sound is the speaker making and matching that with your eyes by putting your eye on the right ear tuning syllable at all times, listening carefully. Hey, maybe I made a mistake. I made a mistake in the last story 3. A few times I said mang when I should have said mag. Anyone did the ear tuning syllables for story 3? Probably caught that. Doesn't matter. The exercise is to keep your eye on the language. If I make a mistake, you catch it. So assume I made mistakes. Listen very carefully for them. Okay. Try not to make them, but I make mistakes. Okay. So what do you do after you've listened? Well, language is all about repetition. Listen again. Try to read them 10 times. Try to listen to those ear tuning syllables and follow them with your eyes. If you're new to this, you can't do it because your ear's not tuned into Filipino. 3 hours of trying this, like 1 hour a day over times 3 days, and your ear will tune into Filipino, and then you can do this. Now, even though it's a struggle at first, do it. Okay, try, keep trying. I have the ear tuning syllables for each individual sentence and for the whole story. Okay, so you can do sometimes the whole story at once. Sometimes you do this one little short sentence at a time. But you're not done yet. After you've read them 10 times, with your eyes following them, then you close your eyes and listen carefully 10 times, just trying to follow them with the best you can. You just looked at them 10 times. Now you got your eyes closed. Now it's just your ear concentrating very hard and you hear it. Okay. Then you go back, read, try to follow with your eyes 10 more times. Okay, while you're listening. And close your eyes, listen 10 more times. Anyway, you do that for a total of an hour a day. I tell people do it a half hour in the morning. Before you go to bed, do another half hour. In between, listen to this audiobook mostly, but Filipino for a few hours and maybe half of that at least to this audiobook that you're trying to learn. Two reasons for listening to that audiobook. First of all, you want to get your ear native as fast as possible to Filipino. Secondly, well, you're going to learn the story. The more times you got that story going into your ear, the faster you're going to learn the story once you start learning the vocabulary. Okay? Passive listening you do during the day, pay no attention to it. So I'm asking you for as far as getting your ear tuned to Filipino to spend an hour a day on it for the first week, then a little less as you go on from there. Okay? So for the next few videos, I won't go over that. Okay? Passive listening means you're not paying no attention to it at all. So you can go about your day and you should be spending zero time on passive listening. You're eating, you have the Filipino playing. Maybe you listen to your favorite music in whatever language. You have the Filipino playing in the background. Maybe you like to watch TV or Netflix. Fine, do that. Have the Filipino playing in the background from this audiobook. Low volumes does not spoil your enjoyment of the show. Okay? And well, the third part of this is read throughs. So your eyes going for a native ear, and within that, you're doing these read throughs. This is what we're going to do right now. Okay. Sentence 1. Beautiful, maganda, the weather. Okay, I got ang is the, but ang is really a subject marker. Okay, so this is saying the weather is beautiful, right? So really, weather is the subject. Okay, can you translate it as the or is? So, beautiful is weather. That's fine, but just realize it's really a subject marker, and we'll get more to that. Okay, and the word today is derived from the fact they did not give it another time reference, and in English we say the same thing, beautiful weather. Well, obviously we mean it's beautiful out there today, right? That's all we say is beautiful weather. Okay. Okay. And the individual sentence, ear tuning syllables, magandang panahon. Let's see here. So the A is held longer as the words maganda and ang are blended together a bit, okay? So it comes out magandang, magandang panahon. Okay, sentence 2. Now, what do? Don't go to sentence 2 yet. Do your read-throughs. Okay, for read-throughs, the process is 1, look over the notes, or listen to me explain the notes to you, whichever. Okay. Then you go to the audiobook and you play it while reading the Filipino. Okay. Do that 3 times. Okay. Now, remember ear tuning exercises. I told you to try to follow the ear tuning syllables 3 times. Pattern's kind of the same, less repetitions. Um, do not think of this as studying. You do not have to absorb anything today. You get this input in your brain and you sleep on it overnight, okay? So you're going to read this 3 times. Magandang panahon. And try to understand what it means. That it means beautiful ang subject marker weather. So weather is beautiful. Okay? Read it again. Magandang panahon. Okay? If you're reading it, not listening, I mean, if you just reading it, just study it, you're going to go maganda ang panahon. Okay? But when you hear the ear tuning syllables, you realize they blended the maganda and the ang together, giving you magandang. Okay? Notice that a little bit as you're part of your studying it. But anyway, step 1 is to look over my notes I gave you to see what the sentence means. Step 2 is to read it a few times while reading. I mean, listen to it a few times while reading it. Okay. Then you close your eyes and listen a few times. See how well you understand it. And then look over your notes again. Again, read it 3 times while listening to it. Again, close your eyes and listen to it a few times. At this point, even though you know what it means because you just studied my notes, when you actually hear the words magandang panahon, is like kind of whiff on the meaning, okay? You don't have to keep doing this over and over again until you get it. No, you go on to the next sentence. Overnight, your brain, your speech center in particular, will put this all together and you'll know this better in the morning. You're going to go over the same material in the morning, right? And you keep doing, always going forward, but always also reviewing older material. In the long run, you're going to spend half the time new material, half the time reviewing old material, right? So you're going to depend on your brain doing all the heavy work. You don't do any studying. Studying is counterproductive. If you find yourself doing anything approaching studying, you're wasting your time. You need to be putting this in your ear, okay? In association with the English words, but you don't try to learn anything that day. You just, you'll know it better every time you go through this, okay? Trust your speech center to do all the heavy work. If you catch yourself thinking, "Oh, I got to do this 10 more times until I know it," no, you do it a few times. Go on to the next sentence. You'll be coming back to it anyway. Eventually, right? You'll be a few days from now. You'll be doing the same sentences again. You'll get it. You'll get it. And if you let your brain do all the heavy work, you'll get it without ever studying. That's the way you go. Remember, studying is counterproductive. It goes against the main idea of listening to the language, and it goes against the idea that your speech center is supposed to do all the work, not you. Okay. Sentence 2. Okay. Swam, nag swimming. Okay. This completed form. We'll get into that. Ako, in, sa. Sa is a marker telling you that the location is about to come up, right? Let's say that there's 3 parts of a sentence. There's the ang phrase, which is the subject. There is the nang phrase, it's an ng, but it's pronounced nang, which is the object of the sentence, and the sa phrase, which tells you what the location of the action, okay? say sa pool. Then we have a past, the word past, noong, and that's noong with a G added for a connector to the next word, okay? NG is a connector, but this word, noong, ends with an N, so, well, since the N's already there in the NG, you just add the G, so you got noong. Afternoon, hapon, okay? So, okay, past afternoon, okay? So, noong, you can think of the past as a past tense marker showing that it's the past afternoon that is being discussed. Since the N is already there, just G is added to connect the word to afternoon. See, noon can also mean at that time, like that yonder of that, then in that manner or way, formerly. Okay, and the ear tuning syllables for the sentence: nag swimming, ako sa pool, noong hapon. Next sentence. Okay, stop. Do your read throughs. Okay, read it 3 times while listening to it for understanding. Okay, close your eyes, listen 3 more times for understanding. Look over your notes that I wrote here for you. Maybe you took some more notes for yourself. Who knows? Then again, listen 3 times while reading. Again, listen 3 times, your eyes closed, and go on to the next sentence. Could you do it a 3rd time? I used to always do a 3rd time. I found it's better to go to the next sentence because I'm going to go back anyway and do more repetitions on the first, second sentence, etc. So doing a whole lot of repetitions, probably not good. You kind of feel your way through that, right? Don't get too many repetitions, but maybe you find that doing a 3rd repetition, you pick up the material faster than if you only do 2 repetitions of the process for read-throughs. Okay. Movie, Sinihan. Excuse me. Okay, movie, Sinihan. Then noon at night, kinagabihan. The phrase noon kinagabihan equals at night. Okay. It says noon is an alternate way to say noon, but I'm not sure if the usage is the same. They might, depending on the usage of it, spell it one way versus the other. Okay, to go. In order, base word, infinitive past, present, future. So in the order of the base word, then the infinitive, which is also the command form, and then the past tense, and then the present tense, and then the future tense. I'll be doing that order a lot when I introduce verbs. Punta means direction, destination, going or coming. That's the word, the base word that the verb is formed off of. Then we have magpunta. Okay, mag is the, along with ma, which just doesn't use the G. There's no difference between a mag verb and a ma verb. It simply doesn't have a G on the ma verbs, right? Otherwise, all the grammar is the same. So adding a mag prefix, that's something that goes before the word, a very, very common way to make a verb. So mag punta, okay, means to go. It can also mean go as a command. Hey, you, go, mag punta. Okay. Then you got nag punta. Well, it's past tense. So it means that, in other words, the action already started. As a matter of fact, now it only started. For past tense, it's done. Okay, it's complete, called a completed action, right? So you change the mag to a nag as a signal that the action has started. So instead of magpunta, it's nagpunta. Okay. Now, and there's no doubling. It doesn't go pupunta because this is not one of the what I call the murkier tenses. We'll get that in a minute. Okay, so nagpunta, past tense. Action has started and completed. So mag changes to nag. Then you got nagpupunta. Okay, this is the present tense. Present tense, the action has started. Okay, present tense is used for stuff that's going on now, but not completed, or for things that happen every day, like the store opens every day at 10 o'clock. You use this form, right? Or things you do as a habit, using the present tense. And because it started, again, the mag changes to nag, and I call this one of the murky tenses. Why? Well, it's really it's a memory trick only. It's a memory trick. From English, English uses two different tenses to express the future. One is the present by putting a future time reference. I am going to the store. That is a present tense sentence. But if I say I am going to the store tomorrow, now it makes it the future. Well, isn't the future kind of murky? Can't see the future, right? Don't have, unless you got your future glasses on, I guess. I don't have a pair of those. So future's kind of murky. The other tense the English uses for the future is the future tense, of course. I will go to the store tomorrow. Okay. So the murkier tenses, present, future, you double the first two letters in the base word. Okay, so remember punta, P-U-N-T-A, you go to P-U-P-U-N-T-A, pupunta, double. Well, when you double those letters as an English speaker, you're learning Filipino, kind of makes things kind of murky, right? Well, you can understand punta, but now you got pupunta, a little more complicated. A little more, the situations become a little more murky, right? So the murky tenses look a little bit murkier. Okay, that's a good word. Murkier. Okay. So, but for the future tense, the action hasn't started yet, right? So it's mag, it stays mag, the original mag, and pupunta, mag, pupunta. So yes on the doubling, okay, because it's a future tense, and no on the changing mag to nag because the action is not started. This is a future tense, okay, mag, pupunta. Also called the unstarted tense, also called the contemplated. So what do you contemplate doing? Okay, magpupunta. I will go to the store. Okay, or I will go. Okay, anyway. Let's see here. 4. Studied. Nagaral. This is a completed form. We'll get that more of that later. Also, Dean, I, Nang. Oh, excuse me, it's Ako. Nang means of. Used here to introduce a time reference. You always have to, it's basically the word of, right? But it's introducing a time reference. Okay, whole, that's buo, but there's an ng, so it's buong. Okay, it's connecting it to morning, so whole morning. Okay, so buong umaga. I studied the whole morning. To study or to learn is base word aral, means lesson or studies. Then you got magaral, just add the mag. Mag means like do or make, other things like that. All mag verbs are actor focused. So you're saying what the person's doing. The person studied, right? What's the difference between a actor focused and object focused? Well, object focused would be like this. The book was studied by the person, but you start out with the book was studied, and then you might name who did it. But see the difference? Paul studied the book versus the book was studied by Paul. The focus with the actor focus is on who did it. Object focus would be on the object, the fact the object was read. Okay, anyway, studied. To study or to learn in this case, aral. Mag-aral means to study. Nag-aral would be studied, right? You can't change the mag to a nag. There's no doubling because it's not one of the murky tenses. It's the past tense, nag-aral. Then you got nag-aaral. Well, that's present tense. It's one of those ones we use for future in English, so it's a murky tense. Because aral starts with a vowel, we only double the vowel, aaral. And then we put the, in this case, nag in front of it for the future tense. Excuse me, nag. This is the present tense we're talking about, which English can use to describe the future, right? And then we got the future tense, mag aaral. Stays mag, does double for the murkier tense. Ear-tuning syllables, nagaral, din a, honang, uong, umaga. See, notice the guy pronounces a K as an H here in ako. So he's not saying ako, he's saying aho. Okay, could be my ear. Listen to yourself. But I've seen this, I'm hearing this a lot, and the K is often so weak it comes out off as a G sometimes. But so far, if I listen carefully enough, I realize that yeah, they are going over the threshold to make that G into a K. But in this case, I'm just hearing him say H for a K, which those are two related sounds, both back in the throat. Sentence 5. No, hindi. Past tense marker, na. Bad, masama. So, di na masama. Well, what happened to Hindi? I said D here in the ear-tuning syllables because the speaker didn't say Hindi. He said D. Okay, so there's a difference between what's there, okay, as far as the written versus what the guy actually said. Well, D is short for Hindi, and you'll hear sometimes the speaker will say just D, and you're expecting to hear Hindi for no. Okay, so again, the ear-tuning syllables are D, nama, sama. Okay. Okay, covered good enough. Next. Na can be now, already, as well as being a connector. Okay, I think we've discussed that earlier. See, but used as a past tense, when used in a past tense sentence, it's just a past tense marker showing the action was in the past. Okay, now for this sentence, I'm not experienced enough with Filipino to know if maybe the speaker is just saying not bad and using the na as a connector word, right? Hindi, right, could be not, and he's just putting na, connecting it to the word bad. Okay, not bad. Okay, still ends up with the same translation. Okay, and okay, so I covered one story, half-hour video. That's my target for the length of the video. My name is Lee Solden. If you like this kind of thing, please like, share, subscribe to my channel, tell your friends about this, and hey, please go check out my channel. Maybe there's some other languages you want to learn. Okay, I cover quite a few of them, and especially if you're interested in learning Filipino, this is the fourth. So go look at my channel and look for the first three. Okay, and of course the links I'll be putting into the either the comments or the um, description to the other previous videos and the ones coming. Okay. Altogether, I'll be doing about 12 of these right now. I'll be getting back to teaching other languages. Eventually, this is the fourth out of 12, right? So within a few days, there'll be 12 of them up, covering the first 12 stories. Okay. That's it. I got about one more minute. So in a nutshell, here's how my system goes. Okay. You want to learn a language from me? I tell you. Okay, here's the audiobook I want to teach you. Start putting that in your ear every day for hours while you're going about your business. Completely ignore the audiobook being played in the background. Okay, it just has to be in your ear. Okay. Second step, I have you start doing ear tuning syllables exercises. Okay, ear tuning exercises, I call them. That is, you got the ear tuning. I provide you the ear tuning syllables. You attempt to follow those with your eyes while you're listening to the audiobook. Okay. For practice, you can try to follow me. I'm speaking them slower on this video, right? But I want your ear to get on the audiobook that you're learning as much as possible. Okay. So it's like 10 times trying to follow those ear tuning syllables with your eyes. You never talk. And then 10 times just listen carefully, and then another 10 times trying to follow the ear tuning syllables, and another 10 times eyes closed. Try to do that for a half hour. You can do the individual sentences or for the whole story. Just do a half hour in the morning, another half hour before we go to bed at night, in between several hours of passive listening, mostly to this audiobook. Okay? So, and the third part of my program is these read-throughs, which I'm guiding you through. That means you look over a sentence, what it means. Then you read it while listening 3 times. Then you close your eyes, listen 3 times more. Then you again read it 3 times. Excuse me. You first of all look over your notes another time. Then read it 3 times while listening. Close your eyes, listen 3 times. Fundamental difference between the ear tuning exercises and the read throughs. In the ear tuning exercises, you do not care what anything means. You listen very intently for exactly what sounds are being made. Okay? This is a listening to the sounds exercise. Later, when you do the read throughs, you are listening for understanding. Do you understand what is being said? I want you to separate the two things for now. I want 100% concentration on sounds when you're doing the ear tuning exercises and 100% concentration of whether or not you understand the sentence when you're doing the read throughs. Later, you'll combine those things a little bit. Okay, your reading speed will go up. You'll be able to actually be ahead of the speaker and be understand as far as an understanding what's going on. At the same time, you can kind of go back and listen to exactly how things are being said. You kind of combine the two things. For now, you're not there yet. For now, 100% concentration on ear tuning syllables as to what exactly how each syllable sounds from the speaker. 100% concentration. And read throughs, 100% concentration on what does that sentence mean. And the last thing I'll say before I let you go, always let your speech center do the heavy lifting. Never study. Bye-bye.